For a great cup of joe, there's one thing you should know. Your morning brew can also be playful. Buff Boy Brewing guys make the temperature rise, and you surely feel naughty when you swallow our coffee. If you want some real heat, give your mouth a fine treat. You will want some more, rest assured. Buff Boy Brewing, you can't get enough of.
It's time for The Scribble, your weekly fix of celebrity chats, bizarre stories in the news, and basic random chatter with best-selling author and syndicated radio host Jeremy Bradley. Make sure your seat is in the upright and locked position and your barf bag is securely in place. Here's Jeremy Bradley.
Thank you very much, Larson. Jeremy Bradley here. This is The Scribble, and I should say Happy New Year. I haven't talked to you since Mariah Carey redeemed herself on New Year's Eve, and Britney Spears, both of them big divas on NYE, and everybody talking about Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen just not having that chemistry, and on CNN, and Randy Kay on the pot bus getting high in Colorado. Very, very weird New Year's Eve ceremonies all around. All right, we've got 30 minutes of chatter today. I know, it's always slow going when you just come back off of Christmas break and a whole really completely turned upside down schedule. So we're going to just ease into the year, all right? And I also want to remind you that Sunday night with the Golden Globes, if you're listening to this before January, 7th is the Golden Globes, that I am live tweeting at Jeremy D. Bradley all night during the Golden Globes, so if you want some of the most sarcastic tweets, follow along at Jeremy D. Bradley. And also now that The Bachelor is back, I'm live tweeting and slut-shaming and bachelor-shaming every Monday. So again, at Jeremy D. Bradley. Let's get into those rants right after this.
Who are the Kardashians feuding with now? What did that little thug Justin Bieber do this time? Who's getting hitched? And who's headed for Splitsville? Hear the latest celebrity news and gossip every day on Entertainment Wrap-Up. The good, the bad, the ugly, but mostly the ridiculously hilarious. It's all recapped in this daily segment at entertainmentwrapup.com. Have a laugh at the expense of the rich and famous when they take themselves way too seriously. It's 3 minutes of time-wasting fun at entertainmentwrapup.com. Check out Entertainment Wrap-Up at entertainmentwrapup.com. Brought to you by Speak Free Books.
Jeremy Bradley here, back on The Scribble. Again, thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. And I do love when you chime in on discussion topics that we have here, but then something that's just on your mind. I always love when you reach out. And so the email address to do that is live@jbonair.com, as you hear all the time on this podcast. There was a topic of discussion that came about with one listener. She was looking for a job, basically. And she was telling me that she just was getting so frustrated. Not that she was applying and applying and applying. She was actually getting interviews for the jobs that she was wanting. But the process was very frustrating to her. So here's what happened. And I'll give you some insight as to my thoughts on employment. I own a company, so for me, I haven't gone on a job interview and I don't know how long. I don't even have a resume now that I think about it. So she was applying for an office job, and part of the frustration that she had was she applied. She got a call back right away, so within a couple of days of applying. So that, to her, was a good sign, right? They're interested in me. They want to meet me. They want to talk to me. So the first interview that she had was on the phone. It was a phone chat with the human resources person for about an hour or so. And then it was like, okay, thanks, we'll get back to you. 2 weeks had gone by. So from the time that she applied to get that call was a few days. And then after doing it, 2 weeks had passed. Then she gets a follow-up call that says, we'd like you to come in for an interview. So she's all right. Okay. Already she had written off the job saying, I didn't get it. They don't want me. Whatever. Okay. So then she was surprised when she gets this call. So she goes and she meets with them. And the people interviewing her, I don't know if they were human resources or who they were, but the two people that were there were sick as dogs, like coughing and sneezing the entire time. So basically she said, I was so grossed out in this room that I almost just wanted to give bad answers so that it would end early. Like I didn't want to be in there. And how do you say that to these people? Like, you're kind of gross and I don't want to get sick, so can we do this another day? Like, so she said that it kind of set her off in terms of what the work environment is there. You've got these people that are coming in sick. It's not, I wouldn't be offended anyway, if all of a sudden I get a call saying, you know what, the people that are interviewing you are sick, they're not in, so can we reschedule? Yeah, that's looking out for my health as well, right? But she said it kind of made her wonder about the work environment that's there. So she did the first in-person interview. So a phone interview for an hour, 2 weeks had gone by, then she gets this one. And then they tell her that she's got to come in for another interview and be questioned by other members of the team. So she's sitting there getting frustrated because this is now drawn out about a month. It's dragged out about a month since she first applied, and is kind of like, is this even worth it? And I won't mention the industry or the type of job itself, but in all honesty, to me, it wasn't something that was like highly skilled that would be a tough position to fill, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to say an employee would be a dime a dozen because that sounds disrespectful, but it wouldn't be a tough job to fill, I would think. So I can appreciate an employer, potential employer, being particular because it's going to cost them more money to interview these people, have somebody start, have them leave, do the interview process again, retrain, all that other stuff, right? So I understand that. I get it. But why do the phone interview first? Like, it doesn't make sense to me that you're going to, I guess pre-screen would be the term. You're going to pre-screen them for an hour on the phone. Why not just have them come into the office and do that? If it's not like it was a 5-minute phone call where it's like, well, you know, we don't want you commuting across the city to come and talk to me. We just want to do a quick phone call. This was an hour of her time. If it was me, I'd start billing them for my time. You want me to come in again? You're going to pay me now for the hour. If you get 2 interviews max and you want more, then I would be a dick if I had to go for job interviews. I don't know. It seems like... So I asked around to a couple of people. I've got a 21-year-old cousin. He's employed now, but I wanted to see what it was like for his job interview for where he works now. And it seems like millennials, or at least the younger generation, goes into it with the mentality of the employer needs to prove to me that I should work there. So back in the day when I was applying for jobs, it was like the candidate was throwing themselves, you know, dressed to the nines, worried about every answer they're giving so that you're impressing the interviewer. And now the mentality from people I've spoken to is it's this cocky attitude of, yeah, you need to prove to me why I should work here. Like that's, and I don't know if that would work for or against you. I guess it depends on the role. I mean, for me, if I was interviewing for a writing job, which, you know, I've been writing for 15 years and I've got best-selling books and things like that, I don't know that I would come and say that I'm Stephen King or I'm like this big time author, but certainly I'm going to have a bit of a, you know, I'm a good writer. Yeah, you should hire me because I'm that great. And as I'm speaking it out, I'm kind of thinking that, yeah, I probably would want them to do a little bit of a song and dance as to why I should work for them. So I think that depending on maybe the age of the person who's interviewing you in human resources or whatever the capacity is, that maybe they do that. Maybe if they did really want you, that they would the employer would start to throw themselves at the candidate so that they take them up on the opportunity. I don't know. It's very different, I think, than when I was applying for jobs, you'd either send them by mail or you would fax them. We didn't have all of these things where you can just click and apply online or anything like that. So what happened with this woman, going back to her story, was that she essentially went and said thanks, but no thanks. And I think part of that was because she needed a job. It's not like she had the luxury of being able to play the game for how long, applying for jobs and going for interviews. She basically took the first thing that was offered to her. So I think it was a bad mistake on the part of the company to kind of drag it out, or at least maybe not communicate it. That's maybe what happened. Because you lose interest in it, is what she said. So let's say it was September 1st when I applied for the job. They called me September 3rd. I went for I had the phone interview on the 5th, and then it wasn't until the 20th that I went in for the in-person interview. I didn't hear from them again until the 30th. So yeah, you know, a lot of people who maybe live paycheck to paycheck would have to give up. They would have to pursue something else. So just a note to potential employers, if you're interviewing people, maybe speed up the process or communicate as to why it's taking so long. But she also felt, we had I don't know how many emails back and forth, but she almost felt like they had hired somebody else and that didn't work out. That's what her initial thought was why the 2 weeks from the time that I did the phone call to having the in-person interview. She thought that maybe somebody came in for a week or whatever it was, didn't last, and then, hey, you were the second choice, we'll call you back, without actually telling her that, right? Would you do that? Would you, if you were told, oh, hey, we've already filled the position, thanks, good luck in your search, If you got an email or a phone call from them a week later offering you the job, would you take it? I totally just thought of this question right now. I don't know that I would. Maybe I would, but I would demand more money than what they had offered me originally. I would make them not forget that they overlooked me in the first place. I want to know what you'd think. It would be like sloppy seconds. Would you take the job? Would you accept the offer if they came back to you after telling you no? Send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I was an assistant manager at Party City years ago, and I always laughed when people were coming in like a suit and tie, because it's a party store. We're selling balloons and confetti and streamers. And I understand that they in school or whoever, when you're talking about job interviews, you're told to dress up and look fancy. For me, I just wouldn't. I'm not a shirt and tie person, so I'm not going to go to a job interview like that, because that's going to set the tone for, you're going to expect me to be like this every day, and that's not me. I'm going to come in dressed as I would, because that's how I'm comfortable. I'm there to impress you with my skills, not what I look like. Especially if I'm going for a writing job, you're going to be reading what I do. What does it matter what I'm wearing? So these people, I felt that they were maybe misguided, or this just didn't quite understand. It seemed too stuffy and uptight. Now again, it could be different. If you are applying for a job where you're in customer service and you're having to face the public, I understand having to look presentable. But I've heard there was one... This was years ago. I think I told this story months ago on the show, that there was somebody that worked at a call center and told me that on Wednesdays and Fridays it was, because Casual Friday, she said that they hated, or he said, that they had to wear these god-awful shirts, bright orange shirts that were, I don't remember exactly what it said, something about like customer service, or customers are our number one priority, or whatever it was. It's a call center. You're locked behind doors. How many floors up in a building? The public is not seeing you, but they had to wear these ugly orange and red shirts that are proclaiming how great customers are and that they're the number one priority. And they had to. And worse yet, if they weren't wearing it on those days, they would either, one, have to go back home to get it, or two, have to buy another shirt to wear it that day. I would be fascinated to know how many people were sent home and just didn't come back. I'd be like, screw you to wear a shirt when nobody's even seeing me. What is the point of that? What is the point of that? I should find out what their turnover rate is. That would be great to hear. Maybe they did away with it. It doesn't make sense to me. I always laugh too when I go into a cell phone store and the guys are like shirt and tie, and I'm just like, I'm buying a cell phone, really. I'm not buying a car. I'm not buying a house. I don't get it. It's the same thing with realtors. When I see the for sale sign and they have these like big glam modeling shots of themselves, I'm just like, you're selling a house. I don't care how pretty you are. You're not coming with the house. It doesn't, why are you, who cares? I don't know. Anyway, so dressing your part. If you're going for a job in a mechanic's garage, well, I don't know that you necessarily need a suit and tie, right? A party store, I would expect, even if it was a collared shirt, let's say a polo shirt or a golf shirt, something like that, fine. But a suit jacket and tie coming into Party City, like, it stood out as being... I wasn't doing the hiring there, so I was just an assistant manager. I would judge them when they would be coming in. And yeah, to me, they just looked really out of place. They looked really, really out of place. Anyway, I would love to hear about your job search. If you've gone on interviews, if you've had anything like that, send me an email, live@jbonair.com, live@jbonair.com. I almost want to just apply for jobs and go for interviews just to feel it out and see what it's like. Should I do that? Should I just make up a phony resume and apply for random jobs? That would be great. All right, I don't have that much time on my hands, despite what that idea sounds like, but I think that would be really funny to do that. Totally something that I'm not even qualified for. Just make up an entirely, crazy resume and apply for it and just see if I can wow them. See how many job offers I can get for a role that I have no credibility for or anything like that. That'd be really funny. Live@jbonair.com. Yeah, it's got me thinking now, everybody. Live@jbonair.com.
Ever had something to get off your chest but never had the balls to say it? That's a load of crap. Speak Free with JB.com is exactly what you've been waiting for. Your chance to tell it like it is and not care what anybody else thinks. Have your say on issues of the day. Join newspaper and radio columnist Jeremy Bradley as he tells it like it is. Hundreds of thousands of people have stopped by, including some well-known celebrities who have had a chat with JB and speak candidly about what's really going on in the world. You can join them too. Have a rant or a rave. Be brave and head on over to www.speakfreewithjb.com now.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. Thanks for tuning in at thescribbleshow.com and on SoundCloud and iTunes. So I am experiencing apps on my phone. I recently, well, not recently, I guess, got a new BlackBerry which operates with Android, right? So that opens up a whole new platform, really, for a BlackBerry user. I've had a BlackBerry since, I don't even know, at least 10 years, and I've never had any other phone since then. And so you get used to it, right? For me, it's the keyboard. Everybody makes fun of me, but it's not like I'm a live and breathe BlackBerry because it's the brand or whatever it is. It's the keyboard that I'm used to, and that's just what I've stuck with. And so they sent me a new BlackBerry when we were working on a project with them. They are a supporter, a sponsor of our show. And so anyway, let's fast forward now. I get to use apps, basically, and I had never really used them before. So ordering food is like crazy for me now with these different apps that you can just you can watch the car where it is on GPS and see where your food is. It's just so convenient. It really is. If I don't have to leave the house, I don't. And so this is even better. If I want Wendy's or KFC or pizza or whatever, which pizza delivery has been around for a long time. I'm not saying that that's new, but certainly like having Wendy's delivered or anything like that, it's just incredible. So it leads me to KFC because there's a few stories that I want to talk about. One, I actually got a page of flyers from KFC that had no prices. So they give you all these coupons, but you don't know exactly what you're paying for the things. And then 2 days later, I got the exact same flyer. This time it did have prices, so I'm guessing that they did catch that printing error that they had. But KFC has a long history, for me anyway, when we've been doing our travel shows. And I'm going to tell you that story because when we do our travel shows, we work with tourism boards. And they will often want to wine and dine me and have me go to the fanciest restaurants and have really, really classy meals with nice wine and things like that. Well, for me, I've always said to them, I'm fine with Subway. We can just grab a salad or whatever and just go. I'm there to tape the segments. I'm there to do it. And so when I have these conversations with the tourism people, I will often bring up this KFC story because they get requests for really weird things all the time. I'm not going to say which city I was in, but the tourism person said that they had this person traveling with a rubber chicken and basically was doing selfies and taking pictures with this rubber chicken everywhere they went. And I was like, okay, well, that's just bizarre. So for me, and it's not a demand or anything like that, but it's a request to go to KFC. And here is why. First off, I don't mind KFC, but again, I'm not one of those live and breathe and raw KFC. It's my favorite thing. I've got to have it however many times a day. For me, it's a story that when I was doing our spring break shows, we were in Montreal. This is going back almost about 5 years now. It was just a really sensitive time in my family with my grandpa being sick and just not doing well. And my grandma wanted everybody to be together. And it was for Easter, Thanksgiving, Christmas, like the big holidays when there's that family togetherness. And so this was the first time that I was away for Easter. We could only tape over the Easter long weekend. I had to go away. And I felt bad because I was missing Easter. So it was in my hotel room, and all of a sudden I see on my phone that it's my grandma calling me. And I was like, oh, cripes. She notices that I'm not there, and I felt bad. So I answered the phone, talking to her for a little bit. They were having the family get-together, and I love the turkey that she makes, and so she was asking, where I was and why I wasn't there, and she felt bad because I wasn't there, and I said, well, you know what, I'm going to have a turkey dinner here in Montreal, and I'll send you pictures of it, and and don't worry, I'll have my turkey dinner. And so, unfortunately, there was nothing open in Montreal that day. And it's a very religious city, and so Easter, there were no restaurants open. The hotel restaurant didn't have turkey, and I was like, oh crap, I've got to have something. So KFC, it's not quite turkey, it's chicken, and some people might say it's not quite chicken, but it's chicken. And I thought, that's the best I can do, and so you know what, I'm going to do it. So I ordered KFC, it was delivered, And it was a fancy hotel that I was staying at, and so, I'm not kidding you, the KFC is delivered on a silver platter. I guess the concierge at the front desk or somebody had intercepted the delivery guy and said, oh, no, we'll charge the KFC to the room, whatever it is, and then we'll just charge me. And so, I'm not kidding you, KFC silver platter to my hotel room. And so it was just the funniest thing, because here it is, like the grease dripping through the bag, it's on a silver platter. So I took a picture of it, and now it's become a thing that any city that I go to, I stop at KFC for a photo op, and I do it. And it's just, it's every city that we've gone to. And it's one of those things where we will actually find out where the KFCs are ahead of time, and we'll make arrangements to either, pass by there or at least, make it known that, JB needs to stop at a KFC sometime while he's in this city. And so it's funny, and it's kind of a joke kind of a thing. And I laugh when some of the tourism boards or the people locally think that it's actually a serious thing that I have to stop at KFC. There was one city where one of the tourism women had said to her coworkers that, he is a KFC fan. You need to take him to KFC. And when the guys told me that after, I was kind of laughing, going, no, you guys, it's actually like it's a joke kind of thing. It's fun. It is not completely serious. So anyway, there's my little shout and free publicity for KFC. My name is Jeremy Bradley, and this is The Scribble.
It's never too early to start thinking about your next holiday. Have you checked out Mexico recently? From tequila tasting, swimming with horses, to ziplining through the jungle and watching whales and dolphins in their natural habitat, Puerto Vallarta has it all. Visit mexico.jbonair.com to see all the fun PV has to offer. That's at mexico.jbonair.com for hundreds of photos, interviews, and videos from around the tourist hotspot. Check out mexico.jbonair.com for all the fun. That's mexico.jbonair.com.
Jeremy Bradley here on The Scribble. I'm just thinking about something. I've been doing radio for about 11 years or so, and something that I've noticed doing the radio show and now doing this podcast is that with the radio show, for some reason, I'm like sitting up straight and I'm leaning forward. I'm into it. Doing this podcast, though, I'm kind of like slouched back in my chair, just being casual, being relaxed, and I don't know, there's something different about doing this show. On the radio, we've got time constraints, and we've got to get back to the music, and there's this, and there's that, whereas the podcast is a little a little bit different. I've gone on that rant here on this show before that in the broadcast world, people that have YouTube shows and all that other stuff are kind of looked at as like just not quite broadcasters. The whole amateur thing isn't really, and I think that's starting to change. Back when I was in I was taking communications in school and I was doing journalism and things like that. Yeah, the dream was to work for one of the big companies, and now I think people, and it's very entrepreneurial. I think people are wanting to, make money doing their own thing. So if they like writing or if they've got opinions and they want to just be a crap disturber, which we see that a lot on social media. I have people that do that to me when I make a comment about, I don't even know what it was. I think it was just like Canada's birthday, and all of a sudden it's like, well, you should worry about your freedom of speech because the government wants to control the internet, or, well, you better enjoy all those refugees that are coming. It's like, I just said Happy Canada Day. I don't exactly get what this is about, and I think a big part of that is people just trying to get a rise out of you, right? I mean, they just want to have this battle, and I don't care. I don't really spend that much time on social media, truth be told, and it's probably not the smartest thing to say. Is that a lot of times my tweets are pre-programmed. I'm not there 24/7. I wrote the book, Put Down Your Damn Phone already. I am not one of those people who's on social media 24/7, let me tell you. But it is just interesting that industries have changed over the last little while. Broadcasting, writing even, music. I mean, look at technology and how it's changed music. You don't even have to be able to sing anymore to get lucrative record deals and things like that. So there's a couple things on social media that do kind of make me laugh, and I have actually a list of things to talk about today. The lovey-dovey social media posts, case in point, and it's always e-news is one of the big offenders for something like this, where a celebrity will go and post, happy birthday, I love you, you're the best, and I don't quite get that. I mean, I sort of get it, is that they're wanting acknowledgement from the general public, first off. Secondly, they want to, I guess, brag that they're in a relationship and they have somebody. And It doesn't make sense to me. For me, I've still been one of those people who have like, you know what, keep your relationship off social media. I don't get what it is. And secondly, it's like, can't you just talk to each other? I don't get why you're doing that. It's very bizarre to me. So you live with the person, and potentially, I guess, and maybe you did say happy birthday to them this morning before they left for work, and you're going to do dinner tonight as well. But then you have to do this, you're the best in the world, I love you, you complete me, blah, 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 blah. It's like, ugh, I feel like throwing up in my mouth, or on you. I feel like just having an actual physical reaction when I see things like that. And it's not that I'm anti-love, that's definitely not what I'm getting at. Is I'm just more of a private love kind of thing. Like, if I really care about you, I'm going to tell you that. I'll tell you that in person. I might tell you that on a text, but not publicly in front of everybody. I don't know. That's the same thing that people who have, fight in their relationship and end up doing the same thing, calling out that he's such a jerk and blah, blah, blah. One, that's so humiliating, I would think, because to me, that shows that you are juvenile, not that the person you're with is juvenile, but whatever. And secondly, it's like, why don't you talk it out with each other instead of spending time writing about it to a bunch of strangers? Or pick up the phone and call your best friend and say, hey, this is what's happened. Like, I don't get it. And so that's one thing about social media. The other one is it's on the same sort of trend, is I know that my mom is not on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that, but then there's the people that will go and say, like, happy birthday to my best mom in the world and blah, 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 blah. It's like, well, she's not even there. Like, I don't get why I would do that. Or, like, me wishing my grandma a happy birthday, or me wishing my grandma a happy birthday on the radio show or on this podcast. I know she's not listening, so I don't get it. I don't understand. It's very bizarre to me, this whole social media thing. I feel like a very old man some days because I'm just like, I don't get it. Even Twitter, I've only been on it for a few years now. The whole hashtag thing I didn't understand. I was one of those people that looked and like, you're doing an @ symbol and then what is that after? Like, it didn't compute with me. It didn't resonate. And so I'm getting into it now, but what I'm saying is, like, I'm still just one of those people who, I mean, I do text, I guess, quite a bit, but I'm still like, just let's pick up the phone and just have a conversation. Like, that's more interesting to me. And it's the same thing with people who have fights through text messaging, that you're just sitting there and you're waiting to get the next text message. And for people who have iPhones, I guess it shows you when the person has read the message and is typing or whatever. That would just drive me insane. It would, I don't know, I'd be a nervous wreck all the time, just constantly clutching my phone and waiting to see what the person's writing back, and then thinking, it says that they've been writing for 30 seconds. Oh, it's going to be a really long message and whatever. It's like, get a life. My God, go and do something. Read a book. Read one of my books, for crying out loud. So, anyway, there's just some social media rants for you. Oh, another thing, too, is screen names. So we're talking about like Twitter handles and things. I know them as screen names back from my AOL days. What was your very first screen name? If you were on AOL or MSN Chat or Yahoo Chat or any of those things, send me an email. I want to know if it was your name. Did you have something clever? live@jbonair.com is the email address. live@jbonair.com. Funny story about mine, and I didn't realize it at the time. This going back when I was, I was an early teenager anyway. And I thought that you would pick a screen name that's like similar to your name, right? Screen name, I figured name. So I couldn't get Jeremy B or whatever it was. And so I thought, let me do my initials. So Jeremy David Bradley, I did BJDAV. BJ Dav. For some reason, I thought that was cool. I don't know why. Then I start getting messages for Dave and the initials BJ. It was not kind of the response I wanted or was expecting from people. You remember, cyber sex was all the rage when you'd go into one of those chat rooms and it's like, hey, you want a cyber? And the funniest thing was, I laugh about it now. I'll admit, as a teenager, I was doing cyber sex. Of course I was. But it was so funny that the person is just describing themselves. And I don't even think that you could send pictures to each other. I guess you could email them, but through those instant messages, you couldn't send pictures. So it was just a matter of like describing what you are. And then people going, oh, unattractive. No thanks. I don't want to cyber with you. I don't want to read your words because you've painted a horrible visual of yourself is essentially what it was. Really? Okay, I'm 19, I'm this, I'm that, and it's really a 30-something. I mean, we've all heard those stories, right? You see in the show Catfish. But with cyber sex, yeah, it was just quite funny. Where you're just banking on the person hoping they like the description of themselves, or they hope you like the description of yourself, and then whatever, and then you guys just do the deed. I don't know. I was going to ask you, have you ever had cyber sex? Send me an email, but that's okay. I know that you have. I know that you did. If you're my generation and you were between the ages of like 16 and 20 and you were using AOL chat rooms, you were having cyber sex. Don't lie to me. All right, let's take a break. We'll be right back after this.
We hear you chirping. Get scribbling. Tweet up the Scribble at The Scribble Show. Join the discussion with Jeremy Bradley. It's all going down right now on Twitter at The Scribble Show and at thescribbleshow.com.
That's it. We're out of time. I will talk to you same time, same place next week. Bye-bye, everybody.
Want more Scribble? Check out thescribbleshow.com for past shows, celebrity interviews, cheapskate tips, and more. That's at thescribbleshow.com and on Twitter at The Scribble Show. The Scribble is a speak-free media presentation.
If you want some real heat